Hey, hey, hey. Give me 1 second to get organized here. Welcome. Let me make sure I'm streaming before I get started. Like I am. I'm live. All right. If you're here, I would love to hear from you. Just in the chat, would you drop a quick message? Tell me, say hi. Maybe tell me where you're from. Um, I don't usually have a lot of folks watching this, but it's nice to get a sense of who I'm talking to. So that's why I'm asking. A lot of people do watch the replay though, so I'm going to add some commentary as I always do. One thing I always forget to do is a little bit of self promotion. I'm going to try to do that now. I would love to have you subscribe to my daily mailing list. I have a mailing list about Go. Head over to boldlygo.tech/daily and you can sign up there. You may already be there. I do mention this live stream every week when I do it on there and give daily tips about Go and also often announce other videos as I publish them on YouTube. So I'd love to have you join me there if you're not already. If you have any questions as I'm going through this today, just drop it in the chat. If you have any suggestions how I could improve this or make it more interesting or more engaging or topics you would like me to talk about, I'm also quite interested to hear that from you. You can leave that in the chat even after the live stream is done, especially on YouTube. It's really easy. I think on LinkedIn as well. Those are the two places I'm streaming. You can leave a message there, and I'll see that. So today I'm going to be picking up sort of where I left off last week. Last week I started writing a SQLite backend driver for my CouchDB library for Go. I've done some work on it since then, so I'm not picking up exactly where I left off. I'm picking up a few hours later, but that's what I'm going to be working on today. So if you have questions, if that's confusing, mention it in the chat. I can explain it, but I don't want to spend a lot of time going over it again because I kind of explained the idea last week. So I don't want to bore you if you already know what I'm talking about. Actually, I'm not sure if this is working. Because although it says I'm live, I just see a blank screen. Let me double check a couple things. View on YouTube to see how. Okay, I see myself on YouTube. I think it's okay. I think it's just restream is showing a blank screen. So I think it's okay. If you are here and you can't see me or hear me, if you can't hear me, you're not going to know what I'm saying. But if you can't see me, let me know in chat. YouTube tells me I do have live viewers. All right. So let me share my screen and get started. So actually, the first thing I need to do is merge the work I was doing before. I, about an hour ago, pushed up a pull request. Let me see the status of that. Okay, failed, but it probably doesn't flaky test. You know, I hate flaky tests, and I do everything I can to stop them, but I can't get rid of these flaky tests because it's running tests against a live CouchDB server running in Docker, which is code I don't control. So there's not really much I can do about it, except rerun these tests all the time. And when I run so many versions of Go, and each one of these is running against like 4 or 5 versions of CouchDB, I would say 10 to 20% of the time they'll have a failing test. So that means that almost every time I merge something, I have to rerun something. Quite annoying, but such is life, right? Oh, this is going to pass though. These it's just two random failures. Pretty sure it's going to pass. So while that's going on, let me pull up the code and we can get started. At least updating you to the progress I've made since the last live stream. Here. I had a comment last week that it was hard to see the code, or at least I think what the comment was. If you can't see the code, let me know. I can zoom in. I mean, if you're watching on a phone or something, it's going to be hard. I mean, I can zoom in enough that you can see, but then I can't really have enough. I can't see enough on my screen at the time to really be productive. So I try to balance that. I actually have I have a 14-inch monitor up here that I'm looking at, and I intentionally bought the smallest 1080p monitor I could buy specifically for this, so that on the theory that if I can read the code, there's a better chance that you can read it. Because on my big screen, my usual screen, I use a small font, and I'm sitting close to it. It's easy for me to see, but there's no way that you could see that if I was streaming that. So anyway, so last week, basically all I did really on the live stream was set up sort of the structure of the project. I didn't really start writing any code. I think we might have started connecting to the database, but that's all we did. Since then, I added the put method, which is what creates a document. It seemed like a good place to start. I can't start reading documents until they're there, so I started with the put method to create documents, and I wrote a whole bunch of tests for that. I wrote a bunch of tests for put, created a document, one with the document and the revision don't match, and a whole bunch of different failure cases. So far, it's all working. And then I moved on to get, and that's where I am right now. And I hit a snag very quickly with get. Normal get is fine. The snag I hit is the bug I'll be working. I guess it is a bug, but yeah, it's the challenge that they're working on first. When you fetch a document, okay, actually a little bit of background on CouchDB before I talk about this. So CouchDB is a document store. It lets you store JSON documents, and each document has an ID, which is unique throughout the lifetime of the document, and revision, kind of like a Git SHA or something like that. And the reason for this is so that you can have multiple masters, so to speak. You can or offline first apps or whatever, and you can synchronize them. And there's a potential, of course, when you synchronize an app that has with a central server, for example, that hasn't been connected for a while. There's a possibility of a conflict because maybe two users of the database, two instances, two clients, updated the same document at the same time in different ways. And so there's this capability of now when that happens, you automatically get one winning revision, and it's actually a simple algorithm. Whichever one sorts last in alphanumeric order. But when that happens, then you have this a document in a conflicted state, and you can query for a conflicted document so that you can resolve those conflicts. So that was the first problem I ran into, is I didn't have any way to represent that correctly. Basically, I need to return a document with this underscore conflicts array that is a list of conflicting revisions. And it works fine for the simple case. I wrote this test that created two documents with the same revision, same ID, foo, and different revisions, conflicting revisions, one -abc and one -xyz. And when I fetched the winning one, which would be xyz because that's what's last, it properly reports the conflict one -abc. Where I run into a problem is these conflicts. Let's say that you and I both are using the same central database. I've created version 1 XYZ, and then I update it, and now it's 2, say, XYZ. But you're still on 1 ABC. Which conflict should you see? When you request 1 ABC, you should see 2 XYZ, not 1 XYZ. And as it stands, let me run the test. Taking longer than expected. So it's actually returning too many revisions here. Let me see which one it shouldn't return. It should return one XYZ. Okay, so I took the one XYZ and I updated it to something else, two XYZ or whatever, right? But it still is returning that one in the list, and it shouldn't. So I need to add some logic to detect what is the most recent version in that chain on the tree, and only return the most recent one instead of all of its ancestors. That's what I'm trying to solve right now. Now, I think I know how to solve that. I think I know why it's failing, but I need to check into that. You know what? I'm going to double check that this is not an unexpected failure. Yeah, it's right. So I'm going to go ahead and merge this, force merge it. And then I'm going to let's branch here. Now I'm going to call this branch what am I trying to solve? I'm trying to solve leaf, leaf logic. That's sort of what I call it, right? Well, I already have some code, and I don't know what this extra section is about. I already have some code in whip. I'll do that. So this is the progress I've been making so far. I did this last night while watching TV. So this is what I need to update. I'm pretty sure the problem here is that when I do my put, I'm not setting the parent correctly. Let me explain what that means. I'm showing the code. So at the moment, it creates. I think last week we created this, the main table. I've since added this, and I've added some foreign key constraints. So this table tracks the tree of revision. And so I need to insert into this. So we have the ID, which is the document ID. Foo, and the test we're working on right now. Rev is the revision ID. That's the integer that comes before the dash, like this. One, but the revision. And then the revision ID is the pseudo-random stuff that comes at the end. It's actually like the MD5 sum of the document or something like that, depending on the implementation. But that's what that is. And then the parent rev and parent rev ID reference this same table, as you can see in this foreign key constraint. They reference the same table. Parent rev references rev, parent rev ID references rev ID. No. Now, parent rev and parent rev ID are nullable because the first instance, the first version of that document doesn't have a parent. So that would be the null case, right? All right. Now, I think the problem is that in put, when I update that table, yeah, this is the problem right here. I'm only inserting the current rev, and I'm not doing the parent, which was fine for the first version of the document, which is why some of the tests are passing. But I need to update that to also include actually, this isn't the case I care about. This is the new edits. Right. Oh, this is let me see. So new edits is a feature that's used during replication, which is when most conflicts would occur. But this is the not new edits, which is the this is the synchronization path. So yes, this is. I do need to make this change here, but this isn't going to fix this particular bug. I need to come down to this other case. Here. Nope. Here. Into why am I so confused? for rev. Okay, yeah. We can add current rev ID. And this is the 4. And we need to pass those values here. Now, what are those values? That's the question. So that's going to be, I think I have this, yeah, current rev. I need to parse that into its constituent parts. I might just modify this to, I think I will. So I'm going to say rev. So I have this type called revision. That is the compound thing. And the reason for that is I have this parse rev that takes the string and turns it into that for validation, and then the string method turns it into the compound one. So I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to change the logic here. I'm going to have this select. Oh, wait, can I do that? So I want, yeah, I can. It's a little more complicated though. Select rev, block, group, by, right? So I want to get, yeah, I want to get the, let's see, order by rev, descending, I think that'll do it. You must bring it into rev. It should be logically the same, and then here I do string compare. And now down here I can just pass the rev dot no dot rev. Think that'll work? Nice thing about having written tests first is I will know very quickly, right? Still not working, and I got a whole bunch of errors, so that didn't work. I'm gonna undo some of this with just Control Z. Get back to the previously less broken state. Still broken. Okay. I started to add stuff here. Okay, this is the less broken state. I'm going to create this commit again. I don't know what that XXX file is. I'm sure it's a debugging thing I did that I failed to clean up. I'm just going to create a whip thing. The idea there is to have a checkpoint so I can easily go back. Since I obviously got myself into some deep water, I don't know why it was failing. So let me make one change at a time. Let me make this per rev type change first. ID, descending, 1. Let's see if that still works. Because as far as I know, that should be logically identical. So let's see. Okay, so I broke something there. Am I ordering incorrectly? Descending goes from largest to smallest, right? Ascending goes from smallest. Yeah, that should be correct. I want the largest one. Okay, let's do conflict here. I don't know why. Just print debug output there and see if I can useful. Hope it looks fine. I'm getting the I'm getting a result. I think it's the right one. Let me just double check here. That's back to the original. Yeah, it's getting right from there. There must be some problem with regard to how this revision type works. I'm going to put it back. That particular case is still working. It's these others that are breaking now. Let's see. Oh, okay, so current rev. Okay, I got it. I see what's going on. So the problem is that I'm calling string and it's returning 0 dash rather than the empty string. Now I could just have it return the empty string. I wonder if that's the appropriate way to go. Technically, the empty string is not a valid revision. The other option I can think of is to add an is0 function on here and then check with that. I think I like that better. That's all I need. Because even if I have rev, I was thinking of doing this and id equals blank. The thing is that if the revision equals 0, it's an invalid thing. So I'm just going to do it like this. Even if the ID is set to something, it's an invalid revision. So I'm going to do, just going to check that. So now I need to change this to per rev. If it's not per rev that is 0, and there's what? See how that goes. There we go. That's all good. I can get debug output. Okay, what happened here? It's fine right now that this one's failing because I haven't changed anything that should fix that. I'm trying to do a refactor though, so it shouldn't be causing these other things to fail. So the fact that it is concerning. Why is this failing? Put that debug line back. So that's not the right condition, is it? What am I trying to check here? Current rev. Okay, what is doc rev? I think that's the version I read from the document. That's not a good name. Yeah, that's on the new rev. Or no, that's the revision specified in the put to do a check to make sure that we're referencing the current version. That's what that is. So they do need to match. And so the fact that they don't is interesting here, and they apparently did before. So current rev current rev is not 0, and it's not. No, it is 0. So this, wait a second, this is 0, right? Okay, current rev is 0. Why is it 0? Attempt to create doc with, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it should conflict. So basically, I tried to create a document. I did a put. Pull up the test case. Yeah, so here I'm creating a document and I'm giving it a rev. When creating a document, you should not give it a rev because what that rev says is create this or update the document that has this ID. And the fact that that ID doesn't exist should create a conflict, and it's not doing the conflict correctly because of this new check I did. So basically, if current rev is 0, then the only valid doc rev is the blank one. So maybe I should go back to, maybe I should have this return the blank string and get rid of this as 0. That might be an easier approach. If dot rev equals 0, blank string. Let's try that. I think that's going to make it work. 0. I forgot to say this. That's working. All right, all the tests are passing except the one that I expect to fail. So that solved that particular problem. Semantically, it seems a little bit less than ideal. Like it's not perfectly intuitive, but it's not terrible, and it works. So I can always refactor later. Let me go ahead and commit this change. Read current rev into version. All right. So the whole reason for that was so I don't have to. So previously I was reading the rev string and then I would have to parse it to insert it into the new table. Now I don't have to parse it, which is nice because it's more efficient. And also, like the parsing is only there for error checking, and I know it's valid because I just got it from the database. So now let's do parent rev ID. Let's try inserting this thing and see what happens. I expect it to fail because it failed before. I just don't know why it failed before. Okay. Here it is. Per rev rev. I expect this is going to fail, and I don't know why. It makes all those things fail. Constraint failed, flunky, constraint failed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let me debug a little bit here. Let me see what we're trying to insert. Trying to insert doc ID rev per rev ID. See if we get anything surprising in that. We do. A whole bunch of nothing. Oh, I know why that is. Okay, I understand. And what's the solution? So the problem here is that you notice it's not failing any worse for the case that I'm working on. It's the other cases that are now failing. And the reason is because I'm inserting 0 and the blank string rather than nulls. So these should be nulls for new documents. How can I do that? I suppose one way is I could change this type to make these two pointers. That feels sort of magical. It might break other things anyway. What can I do? The other option I can think of, and this is probably what I'll do because it's, even though it's verbose, it's easy. And that is just to create new. I'm going to do it for now. I hope I can find a better way to do exactly this. But I'm going to put some parentheses here. Per rev point int per rev is a pointer string. If per rev rev not equals 0. So here's what that dot is 0 would have been handy, but whatever. Per rev equals yep. Per now I have pointers here. Now I'm gonna this. And with this, it should do nulls in the other cases, I think. Yes. Alright, so now this one did something surprising. Oh, actually, I know exactly what that did and why, and that's correct. I think. Let me just double check. This is update doc with correct rev. Let's do the test. So I have a check here that it has the correct leaf node. And now that I'm inserting the parents properly, I need to update this test. So the first one, I shouldn't say leaf node, but the revision in the tree, the leaf node is just the last one. So this one remains unchanged because it's the root of that tree, but this one changes to have parent rev to a pointer. This is always awkward. So I need a pointer to an int. So explain what I'm doing here, and then parent level d. Let's see if that passes. Okay. So this is an awkward way to get a pointer to a thing. Is I want a pointer to the integer 1, and I can't just do @1. That's not valid in Go. I wish it was. There's an issue to make it valid. And I think even Rob Pike has weighed in that it should be, but it's not. So before generics existed, this was the most concise way to get that, and that is to create a slice of int, call the with your one value in it, take the first value of that, and then make it a pointer. Now with generics, you can easily create a generic function to do that, and I do on some projects, but I haven't on this one, and I may not do it on this one. I certainly won't right now because this project still supports targets Go 1.17, which doesn't support generics. So I'm going to stick with this approach for right now, even though for newer versions of Go there are more options available. Okay, so that's working, which is great. The confusing thing is that this is not working. So I kind of thought that would magically solve this, but maybe I haven't made the necessary changes to the get function yet, or the get method. Let's see if I can find what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and create a commit here. Now, I don't like that I have this whip commit. That has all this stuff after it now. Okay, I'm gonna rebase it a little bit if possible. And see if I can get rid of this. Good. Okay. Now my whip commit is the last one. So I just uncommitted that commit. So now everything's in my working copy. Now my most recent commit is the one I just made earlier that reads the current rev into two variable types, or into two variables, into the compound variable type. So now, let's see what I have and what I want to commit right now. This is what I just did. I'm confident that part is working. That's from yesterday. I'm going to not commit that right now. All right, I'm going to commit just the stuff that I just now fixed. Set parent rev okay, so that part worked. Good. So now we're back to this that wasn't working from yesterday, and I don't know why. That's in the get function. Let's go look at that. This starting on line 202 apparently down here. Okay. So this is where I'm selecting the conflicts. Select child rev. Here I'm combining the rev and the rev ID with a dash in the middle in the database. I think that's fine since I only need the text version of it here. And then I select that from the revs table. Child left join on the same table with a new alias. And so it's a compound foreign key of with three members: the ID, the rev, and the rev ID. Should match. Okay, it looks like it's correct. And then I select the child ID equals 1, which is argument just passed in. And child, and then I want to exclude the rev I'm selecting. Let me see if that's happening. I'm trying to get the most recent one, which comes after this. Okay. And parent ID is null. Let's see what happens if I take this condition out. There's actually two problems that you can see here. One is that we're returning the wrong version of the document. Let me see which one it should be. We can do this test. Only move function. So we want to get 2 equals no, we want to get 2 equals plus. That's what we want. Because that's the most recent version here, right? So to recap, I've created two conflicting versions of the document. One with version 1 ABC, one with version 1 XYZ. And then I updated the XYZ version, and I set the content to be 2 equals plus. So when I select the most recent version, I expect to get 2 equals plus, and then I want this to show the ABC conflict. And so it was actually doing the right thing here. I mean, the test was wrong before, but it's still including 1 XYZ, which is the parent of the version it just returned, and it shouldn't be returning that. And that join here, this select statement should exclude that. Apparently not doing that correctly. See a comment here from Fernando. Haven't written any tests in your Go and template app. Get to it. If you have any questions about that, let me know. I'm not sure what you mean by temple or is that template. Are you using Go templates? Writing tests for those is interesting. I've done that recently too. But yeah, if you need any help, let me know. Okay. So I'm curious now. When I going to my mouse. Okay, that's fine. I mean, this one's failing now, which is exactly what I would expect actually. The thing I don't understand is why this is including. Well, actually, I think I do understand why. So that change I just made. Actually, I don't know why. But for some reason, apparently, we're not doing the correct update on the revs table. Now, I know there's a path where I don't do that at all, and that's this path here, where I don't include the parent revs. I will do that, but that's a different insert mode or a different put mode, which is new edit standard for replication. I will get there, but I don't want to sidetrack myself with that just yet. Here's what I just updated. Let me do some debugging. Let me add some debugging here. Let's see that print. Maybe for some reason currev is blank here. Let's see what this test. I'm going to run it just this one test. No, that's not useful. Apparently it's not null, or what it showed me. Yeah, One XYZ. Okay, that's exactly what I expected. So I don't think that's a query button. So this query does two things. It not only inserts the value in the revs table, it also generates the new rev, uh, the integer part. The, the the string part I have to generate in the client using MD5 sum or whatever. Um, but that's what this here does. Is this increments the most recent one by one. Technically, that's not correct. Now that I think about it, but I'll worry about that later. There are some cases where that wouldn't be right. Yeah, I'll worry about that. So I'm getting it's returning the right thing. I don't actually need it to return this, now that I see. So I don't need to return rev ID because I already have that. Oh, I guess it's useful. No. So I'm inserting, so rev ID I'm passing in and returning. So I am going to undo that because that's kind of silly to do it like that. It does mean I have to explicitly set result. I'm kind of allowing myself to message things that don't matter. But so confused. Why is this new? Let's maybe I need to come down here. Where that conflict? Just right here, isn't it? I'm going to put here. Get. Let's see if we can get. Is this the conflict? Select child. The reason I was commenting this out earlier is I was wondering if somehow excluding that threw off the drawing, but I don't think that's it because it didn't change this. Why is that? Okay, the question is why is parent.id null for this revision? It would be kind of nice if I could see this data. The problem is I'm creating it in memory. But I suppose I could add a query here that would just like dump everything. Let me we're going to go course, which is for advanced Go. Question cat. Not really. What are you interested in learning in Go? Because advanced Go is a pretty broad topic. I mean, you can do memory stuff or network stuff or currency. So yeah, if you have a more specific thing that you're interested in learning, maybe I can come up with something. All right, so I'm going to add. I'm just going to put some debugging code in here. I'm going to do something very similar to this actually. Simpler. I'm going to just do select star from inlet table. And then we're going to iterate over those rows. ID, rev ID. I want to make variables each one of these. Two, 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 pointer to int, and string, okay? And here we're going to do rev, maybe parent, rev, and string parent d. I'm not appending anything here, I'm just going to print it out. It doesn't matter if it's temporary code, but this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to create, I'm going to do yep. Okay, let me run it like this and see what kind of output I get. This should dump the whole table for me. Alright, so I have exactly what I expected to have. Yeah, so I have 3 columns. Let me make this a little more clear. Let me put the prefix. So you see there's 3 columns in the revs table. I'm not sure why I'm getting 0. I should be getting nothing there. Oh, I didn't want to get 0. Okay, so it makes perfect sense what's in the table. I just don't know why it's not working. So let me show you what we're getting. So this first row, ID foo, rev 1, rev ID ABC, that is what happens here. When I create this foo with rev 1 ABC. Then the second row, ID foo, all of them have ID foo, obviously. Rev 1, rev ID XYZ. That's this one. Rev 1, rev ID XYZ. ID foo. And then I update this version of it on this line, and I get the automatically generated rev ID, which is this, and ID2. And this properly references the parent one XYZ, which is what we want to exclude. So something about this query is just wrong. Something about this query is wrong. So the left join, look at this. So left join, so I'm selecting, so this %1q is the table name, which is arbitrary. It's not arbitrary, but it's provided by the user. That's why it's inserted like this. Is that printf. But that in the case of my test is test underscore revs. Select from there as a child. Okay. I call it the instance child. Left join on the same table again as parent. Now parent ID and child ID should be equal. Yes, 2 equals 2. Parent.rev equals child.parentRev. Yes, and parent.revID equals child.parentRevID. Okay. So that should match. Actually, there's a missing condition here, but it's not fitting me yet. Okay. So that should match where 1 equals 1. And what? So this, yeah, this should be fine. Where child.id equals 1. So we're only selecting for ID 2. That's the only one in the table right now, but that's correct. And then where child ID rev equals 2 and child rev ID equals 3, well, that's not true. So that's to exclude the one particular rev. And then parent ID is null. I think I see the problem. Maybe this should be is not null. That didn't do it. Sound is low. Okay. I'm not sure how much I can get. I guess I can turn it up a little bit. Blast out. Yeah. All right, turn it up a little bit. That's the most I can do. I'm already redlining. I'm going to go back down. I hope that's usable. So you want to learn microservices like Kafka, Prometheus. I don't know of any courses on that topic. There are some books on the topic. I don't know if you're a reader. Let me see if Gopher Academy has any courses like that. Maybe that's not the right. Because I'm just seeing a blog there now. Yeah, I don't know of any courses on that. Code Cloud looks like they might. I don't know how advanced they are. KODE, Code Cloud. They have an advanced Golang course. It has apparently 5 stars. I don't know how reliable that is. But I've never taken a course from them, so I can't tell you or spoken to the authors or anything like that. So I don't know anything about the quality of it. But they have one called Advanced Golang. The only other thing I could recommend or offer, I wouldn't say recommend, but the only thing I can offer is I do Go mentoring if you're interested. You can go to boldlygo.tech/mentoring and you can see my plans there. So it might be something I could help you with. It's probably a little more expensive than a course would be, but you probably get better, hands-on one-on-one attention that way too. So if that's interesting, boldlygo.tech/mentoring, or send me a message. My email address and all my contact details are at boldlygo.tech. You can find me there. If you have questions, just follow up that way. All right. Yeah. So this query is wrong in some way. What I think it's actually doing here is it's only returning the root nodes, which is kind of the opposite of what I want. I wonder if I need to sort of invert the way this is handled, like where I'm not sure how I need to do this. I'm going to create a whip commit again because I want to save my not entirely broken state so I can get back to it if I screw things up really bad. I'm going to kind of switch this around. What if I change this to child? The ID is null. I don't think that's going to work, but let's see. All right, I got a nice panic there. Probably, I don't know why. I don't know why. Don't know why. Where did that happen? Line 120? Okay, 130. Right. That broke things entirely new ways, I guess. Do I use other languages regularly? I speak Spanish. I think you mean programming languages. Go is the main one I use. And I do occasionally some JavaScript or something because I kind of need to. Kind of everybody has some JavaScript every now and then. In the past, I did a lot of Perl, but I haven't really touched that in many years. But Go is the main one I do these days. Curious why you're asking. Which book do I recommend for advanced Go? There's one that came out recently. I haven't read it yet. I have a copy sitting around. I haven't gotten to it, called gRPC for Go or something like that. Let me double check the name. It's called gRPC for Go Professionals. That might be one to look into. It's specifically gRPC, of course. If you're looking for if you're looking for all those topics, Kafka and Prometheus, you might end up with different books for each of those topics. Yeah, I don't know of a book that covers all of those. I certainly haven't read. I haven't read books on any of those particular topics. I've used some of those services, but I kind of learned them on my own. I didn't use a book. If you have a specific topic you're looking for a book on, let me know, and I'll see if I can find one to recommend. All right, where was that? This changed things. I don't think in the right way, but now it's panicking on line 138. I'm not sure why it's panicking here because I didn't change it here. This is part of put. It's really strange to me. 206. Why is it? How do I see 292? It's got on different times, different places each time. 292. Anyway, it's always at 138. Which kind of makes sense why it's trying to dereference these things. It should keep it from panicking. Okay, now it doesn't panic. But I have foreign key constraints all over the place. Why is that happening? I just updated a select. I didn't change. Okay, I think I know why. It's because I broke the logic on this thing. But wait, no. That doesn't make sense. I don't know why that has any effect, because this is just the conflicts. Why is that having any effect at all? I mean, I would expect it to affect this, but not the rest. I'm going to commit this as null fix to my whip commit, so I don't forget. So when I revert, I don't revert that. Why is changing that? That select that only affects affects the context. Why is that causing my updates to fail? My puts to fail. Okay, there's a whole bunch of failures from this. That's so strange. No, they're happening anyway. Okay, that makes more sense. I don't know why I didn't notice them, but they're already happening. All right, so maybe I should fix that. Let me see what's going on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check out before that whip commit and see if things are broken there too. Because that things are working. Still don't know where that XXX comes from. That's where it comes from. I should say memory. Okay. Why? That's strange. And I wonder if that was contributing to some of my failures because it was storing stuff in an XXX table, which could very well, if many of the tests are using the same file, that could cause weird behavior. I don't know why it wasn't more broken than it was already, but let's see what happens next. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Ugh. Okay, let me make that change again. Undid the whip commit. So something in this commit is breaking crap. I don't know why. Might be this rev change I did, but I think that was working. Okay, I'm gonna commit the broken test individually. Because I know I want that. Because that's telling me when that turns green, when that test passes, I know I'm done with this feature or this particular task. The rest of this stuff is experimental. Don't know if I need it or not. Um, all right, so I want to start reverting this stuff until my tests pass again. This is likely the only thing I care about in this. Before I do that, I do like this debug function I just did. Except it's not a function, it's just a big inline blob. But I want to move this to someplace where I can reuse it. I don't know if I care that much because I can always just redo it again. Okay, I'm just going to revert this and try again. All right, tests are failing. But only one test is failing, not all of them anymore. So that's good. Get file. All right, so if we're in conflicts mode right here, this is the query I need to fix. Q1, and the reason for that square brackets 1 is so I can use the same argument multiple times. Is there anything special about the Kivik driver? Yeah, I made it. So Kivik is for CouchDB. It's if you're not using CouchDB, you don't need it. It is, as far as I know, the only Go CouchDB driver that's currently maintained. There have been some others in the past. As far as I know, the most recent other one hasn't been touched in 6 or 7 years. So that's what it's for. If you use CouchDB with a Go program, Kivik is probably your go-to to do that. And then it's as far as special, it just like the database SQL driver in Center Library, it allows pluggable backends. And so what I'm working on here is a new backend that will let me use SQLite as the backend for CouchDB style interactions. The main reason for that is for testing or for really fast prototyping and stuff like that if you don't want to spin up an entire CouchDB server. I hope that answers the question. All right, so as child, let's rename all these things to child so that when I add the new one, we don't have problems. ID, rev, deleted should be capital. So there's a deleted column that I'm ignoring right now because I haven't implemented any of that. It was referenced there, but it probably shouldn't have been. Make sure the tests are failing the same way. They still are. Okay. Left join. Now again, this is why I want that %1 in the brackets. This tells FMT sprintf to use the first argument more than once. As parent, on child.id equals parent, and child.rev equals parent.rev, and child.rev. Let's see what we get now. Still the same. Can I make it return all of the revisions? No, for some reason it's not returning all of them, which confuses me. Oh, it is. It is. So here we get all of the revs. Okay. And parent.rev is null. How does that work? Nope. Okay, so I think what I want to do is play on the SQLite command line. I think it's a bit easier. Let me open up my schema and create the appropriate table. Let's call this, let's call it rev. I'm going to create this table on the SQL command line. And then I'm going to insert stuff that matches basically what I want. Insert into revs, ID rev ID parent, rev parent values. Okay. Foo 1 A B C. Foo 1 X Y Z. No. Foo 2. Let's call it query. I don't know what it's called. This one references one. Let's see. Let's see if this works. All right, so there's our 3 columns, roughly similar to the ones we saw before. And now I want to come up with a query that will return only one ABC. This isn't really Go, is it? This is just SQL. But hey, that's an important part of the job too. Somebody asked if I know the languages. There you go, SQL. It's another language I use regularly. Child ID should equal foo. Child rev should equal 2, and rev ID is QWERTY. All right, here's our query. Now, I expect this to return one ABC and one XYZ because that's what it was doing in the code. That is what it does. Okay. I'm going to change this to select star. So it makes it a little bit easier sometimes to see what's going on. And then, how do I make SQLite return column? That would be nice. Sort of column. Column names. That's not what I want. Let me try ask ChatGPT. How do I make SQLite return the results of a select in with column heading and justified columns? I hope that's possible. Now I get an overly verbose response. Enable column mode. Load column dot headers on. Okay, let's try it. Load column. Ah, perfect. The headers apparently are on automatically. All right, so now, all right, ChatGPT, go away. I'm done with you. I'm going to get rid of the where clause entirely for the moment. And just select everything with this join going on. So that's definitely the, these are definitely the ones that have null for parent rev. So that's not what I want. So what I want, I kind of want the reverse. I want to see what do I want? I'm not actually sure what this is showing me here. Make this a little more specific. Child.parent d, and then parent.id is null. Let's try it like that. See what we get. Is this in parentheses? I don't think so. why is it showing the exact same thing? This is not what I was expecting. Maybe my memory about left things is completely screwed up. I don't remember. I don't know. All right. If anybody sees my mistake, let me know. Let me do a refresher. Uh, Inner join is what I would expect. I think that's the default, right? Inner join, yeah, that's what I expect. The inner join should show. I don't understand why I'm getting. Let me update this here. It's a little bit more clear. Parent, this parent dot. What? Parent, parent. What are you complaining about here? Use parent. No, just left. Just join. Okay, this is wrong. That's why I'm so confused. Child, this would be child parent rev. This would be child parent rev ID. And we get nothing. That doesn't seem right either. I mean, I would expect this one. What I want is for this row to show one. Yeah, I wanted to show parent, one XYZ over here. It should be duplicated basically. Okay, I just remembered one thing I probably forgot to do, which is turn on foreign key constraints, which you have to do explicitly when you connect to SQLite, which is kind of annoying. You can't just apparently you can't just turn it on permanently per database basis. Where's the right file? I think it's in here. I don't know if that's actually the problem. I don't think it is because whether they're enforced or not should work. But that's it. Yeah, that's it. So why am I not seeing anything here? Left join revs as parent. Okay, on child.id as parent. Those should match completely. So foo and foo should match. And they do. Like between this line and that one, they do. Foo matches there. And then child.parent rev should equal parent rev. Parent, the target parent is this. That should match. Child.parent rev ID should match parent. Those should match. This should show me something right here. This should have one XYZ. Or foo, one XYZ should be here, as far as I know. but it doesn't. Is my schema wrong in some way? Maybe I need an index on that too. Let's see. Index. Index. I don't care about indexing, honestly. On revs. That didn't make a difference. So confused. So how does it just do a left join without this condition? What will I get then? Alright. So there's no condition, and this is the one I want. Let's comment one condition at a time here. That condition doesn't actually do anything because, in this case, because all of the entries are on item 2, but that's okay. Parent rev equals parent rev. Okay, the one I want is still there. And child. Okay, this one is screwing things up somehow. Why? Is there an invisible space? XYZ, no. Let's see what happens if I comment that one out. So this child parent rev ID equals parent.rev ID is breaking it somehow. How? How is that possible? Add another item to the select here. Parent.rev ID equals child.parent. Let's see what that does. It should say true in one case and false in the other. It doesn't do anything. What the heck? Maybe that equals doesn't work. Let's try single equals. Nothing. I wonder if this not null if throwing it off? I don't think so. It doesn't in most databases anyway. Let me start over and see what happens. Create this table. This time I'm creating that unique reference from the beginning. Don't think that'll make a difference, but don't know what else to try. Yeah, let's try this. Oops. I don't understand why this is not happening. How do I... Let's try some ChatGPT here. How much can help me? Okay, I'm actually going to just... I'm going to test ChatGPT to see how smart it is. I don't think it's going to be able to answer this, but we'll see. This should probably reference ABC or XIV in parent rev ID, doesn't it? What's it saying? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. This record does not participate in the join. Facing the code. It's true it doesn't, but it should. Did I have a typo? I have a typo. Oh my gosh. Did I have the typo in my test also? Did I just do the typo here? X, Y, Z. I don't think I have the typo here, but I have a typo. I had a typo here. All right. Well, that's good to know. Thanks, ChatGPT. You did help me. Rubber ducking for the win. Let's start this over again. Dot mode column. Okay. Let's create our data and our table. Let's try separate. Semicolon here, I suppose. That'll help us solve it. All right, let's see what happens. Was that it? Is that going to solve my problem? I think it did. That's exactly what I expected right there. That's what I wanted. I don't know if that was actually a problem in my code because I don't see that same typo happening. But I will try to update it. Let's see what we can do. Okay. So I don't need all of this anymore. But well, okay. I'm not gonna edit that because I might want to get back to that. So the one thing I changed here was for that index. Maybe that was the magic key. We'll find out here in a second. But here I'm going to update this. You know what? If that was the magic key, then just running a test again should work, right? But I made some changes here that aren't reflected. Okay, actually, I'm gonna continue to update this where child.id equals 2. Okay, let's make sure that that still does what I want. Yes, good. And parent.id is null. I should get to 2. Wait. Okay, so this is back to where this is the problem that I was facing to begin with, right? It's giving me the wrong 2. I want it to return. This condition isn't right. For some reason, this is only returning root nodes, which is not what I want. I want leaf nodes. Let's see if I can get ChatGPT to help me out here. See if it's smart enough to know what I mean. Yes, I would look for rows that do not appear as a parent of any row. That's true. Suddenly it's fast. Okay, so it uses subselect. Can't I do that as a join also? Select one from revs as potential parent, where potential parent ID is child ID. Well, let's try this. Let's see if it works. Copy and paste it directly. Yeah, those are the correct revisions. Those are leaf revisions. The one that's hidden is XYZ. That's the one that is a parent of something else, right? So it's like might be better in some way. Like it's a little easier to reason about, I guess. But I prefer joins because it feels more concise to me. Okay, so yeah, so this is doing essentially the same thing, but kind of in reverse. So instead of child parents and child potential child, that's kind of strange, but okay. Basically inverting this, which kind of makes sense, I guess. Let me just run the same query and see what it does. Yeah, that's what I think. What's the difference? Okay, I think what I want to do, I'm going to go with this. but I want to use different names. I don't feel like this potential child sounds right. Like a child with a potential, yeah, like it's not the right relationship that should be expressed. I'm going to call this rev because that's the rev we're fetching. It's rev, 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 and then just call this child. To me, child.id is no kind of makes intuitive sense. Well, I broke something. Oh, this should be rev here. Okay. Getting somewhere close here. So I'm going to change this to rev.rev, rev.rev as rev, as child. And then we here have rev.id equals child, id rev.rev equals parent.rev.parent rev. And equals rev.id equals blah and not rev.id and child.id is no. Let's see if that works. It works! Finally! Should have done ChatGPT a lot sooner. Only leaf nodes when querying for conflicts. Got it. Hour and a half to solve that. It's always the last 10 minutes that you needed, right? Okay. So I have all these other test cases I can check about. This conflict set true is the one I just did. Okay, let's do deleted conflicts. So I'm going to copy this test case. We're going to make it a little more complicated. Actually, I don't know if is this the right time to do that? So I mentioned earlier on the call or on this live stream that there's the ability to delete documents, and I don't support that yet. So before I can fetch the deleted ones, I have to be able to delete them. So I need to figure out how I want to do that. And I think the way to do that is to add a deleted column to this table. Or do I already have one here. Maybe that's the better place. I'm trying to think if I want to do this. So basically this revs table is kind of serving as like an index. And so it's a tree, right? It's a tree structure. The actual data isn't stored in the tree, though. That's stored over here in this table, which is called the database name, foo or test or whatever. So I do have this deleted column there. Well, let's get started. Let's write the test, and then because I don't know what pieces are missing. But by writing the test, I'll find out. So basically what I want to do is exactly the same as before, except I want to delete that rev, that ABC rev. So let's do that here. Now, I don't have any way. Okay, actually, I do know what I'm going to do. I have the first missing piece is the delete function. So let's do that first. So over here we have a function called delete that does nothing. So let's make that do something first, and then we can go back and test it. I could delete it at the low level, like in the database, do an update, but I need to write the delete function anyway. So let's do that first. And it knows that I want to do that somehow. Don't know how it figured that out, but that's cool. Kind of copy some of this to start with. Won't be exactly the same, but it's my shortcut to get started. So I have the name of the function. I have a setup function, which lets me create some documents or whatever. ID that I'm going to delete. I think I need a rev. Let's take options. Okay. And then it doesn't return a document. It does return a revision. I want revs. And then I probably want a check function, which I can arbitrarily call afterwards. So put that here. Check. All right. Rev error column. Oh wait. Let me do some setup first. Let me copy a bunch of this. Let me just copy. No, I'm not going to copy all of it. Options. Copy that. Yeah, maybe I will copy all of it. No, I'm going to copy what's there. Change this to delete. Change this to called rev. And fill in the check thing for me. All right, so I think that's my boilerplate for my test. Let's write a test thing. First one, we try to delete a document that's not there. We don't need a setup for that. We just try to delete something. Now, before I actually do that, I want to see if that's actually how CatchDB handles this, because I have a reference implementation, right? Pull up the API docs for CatchDB. And then go to documents. And let's see how delete handles things. Delete. You can specify database or document ID doesn't exist. Okay. So and the reason I thought it might not do that, it might just return OK, is for the sake of idempotent deletes. Although maybe it does that too. I'll check it locally, because there's two different ways that a document might not exist. One is that it literally doesn't exist, which is what we're testing right now. And the other is that it's already been deleted, in which case it kind of doesn't exist, but it does, because there's a tombstone document message around. But let's test this one first. This one should be pretty easy. It's already failing because it returned a non-static or a non-error. So I'm going to make this just return not found. Somebody might be thinking, why the heck would I make a function that all it does is return not found? Well, because I'm doing TDD. And the rules of TDD are you write the failing test, and then you might write the minimum amount of code to make the test pass. So I want to commit that. Okay. I committed too much there. I'm trying again. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Where was the commit message I just threw away accidentally? Oh, Fernando says, congratulations for your awesome talk. I was there and it was a good boost of motivation. Thank you for that. Well, I'm glad you were there. Thanks for the kind words. I hope that many people will be interested in contributing to Go after watching that. So for those who don't know, last weekend I was at FOSDEM in Brussels, and I gave a presentation on how I became a Go contributor, and I told the story of my own my own adventure becoming a Go contributor with a very, very trivial code patch. But I like that example because I think it shows how anybody can become a contributor, whether you're a guru or not. If you're interested in watching that, if you haven't seen it already, it's on my YouTube channel, Boldly Go. It's, I think, the most recent video uploaded, not counting today's live stream or last week's live stream. So you can check that out if you want to. All right, where am I? All right, tests are passing, but it's not a very interesting test. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I only have about 10 minutes left for today. So probably what I'll do is I will test how CouchDB behaves when the document's already been deleted. I'll do that later. I'll do that offline. For now, we'll go with the cases we know we can handle. So we're going to delete. We'll just call this test success. We're going to delete a document. So we need to call the setup function to create the document. So we're going to create a document called foo. It's just basically Copilot's copying and pasting stuff I've done elsewhere, which is perfectly fine, right? But I need to know the revision. The revision, fortunately, is deterministic. So if I just print it out once, that'll be good. And then I can delete that. There it is. There's the revision. And that will not change as long as the document contents doesn't change. I'm going to do the options. Nope. Kivik.rev package revision. And then, I don't know if Copilot is right, if it just randomly picked that, or if that's actually what the new revision will be. I'm guessing it's wrong, but we'll see. Anyway, the test is failing now because it's returning not found, because that's what it does unconditionally. So let's make it not do that unconditionally. All right, so we need to make this reference an actual thing. So give it a receiver. All right, let's give these some variable names. Doc ID, I'll just call it ID. And then options. Now I'm going to do some stuff, actually Copilot's going to do it for me, that I know I need to do. So I need to create this options, and I need to apply the options to it. Basically, this is a, I don't know if I want to go into too much detail. This is defined as an interface, right, with the function on it. So I create this ops that this can apply itself to. The reasons for that are kind of complicated and don't matter today, so I'm not going to go into that. But that's what it is. This is it's to allow for the client-facing API to use functional options. That's what that's for, if anybody's wondering. Now, probably a reasonable error message, and that reminds me I need to make a test for it. So let me hop over here and add a to-do list to my tests. You saw the to-do list I had on the other test I was doing earlier. Missing rev. Actually, I think, I'm not sure how that, how does CouchDB respond? So the thing is, I don't know how CouchDB handles a missing rev when you try to delete a document. It might give an error like this, or it might just give a conflict because you're trying to delete a document without knowing the revision. I'm not sure what it is, so I'll need to test CouchDB and see what it does. And then let me add the other case that I was talking about earlier. Delete already deleted doc 200 or 404. Okay, so those are two things I need to test with CouchDB, and then write tests in my own thing to mimic CouchDB's behavior. But I don't want to get sidetracked, so I'm going to keep going. In fact, for now, I'm going to cheat and just do it like this. I'm going to not produce an error for that, not assume that I know anything about it, and just pretend that I'm going on as I am. So now I need to do the delete, right? So let's do that. Update %q. Yep, okay. Set deleted equals true, where ID equals 1, and rev equals 2, and LID equals 3. Oh, that's so good. And then let's see how it suggests handling the error here. Now, actually, I'm going to change this. I'm going to make this be a query row, and then this doesn't return two values. I'm going to make this do a returning. Actually, okay. Hang on. Because when you delete a document, you actually create a new version of the document and you get a new revision. And I already have the logic to do this. It's just up here in my put function. And honestly, a delete and a put are the same thing, kind of. So delete could be implemented as a call to put. In fact, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do that. Probably I want to do that a little bit differently. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try it and see what happens. So I have the revision here. And actually, if I'm doing it this way, I don't need to parse this at all. I just need to say that my doc. No, I want to. It might be super easy. Return g.put ctx id map. even Copilot knows how to do it. Let's see how this works. Because when you deleting a document is the same as putting a document with this deleted equals true, and then all the other fields just go away. Does this work? Got an unexpected revision. Don't know why. Because the not found is broken. Okay, so there's a small bug there. If I call put, so I tested an example of this in my put examples, but I didn't test all of them apparently. So if I try to create, hang on. Yeah, so here, if I try to create a document with put, and I include a revision, it gives me a conflict, as it should. I would expect the same to happen here with delete, except it's not. So there are some special cases here, apparently. I can't just implement delete as a call to put. And at minimum, this is I need to create a duplicate of this, except rather than passing the revision as part of the document, I pass it as an option. So that's what's failing right now. Options, kivik.rev. There's multiple ways to pass the revision. And this one apparently is failing. Let me just verify that it's failing both times. No, did it succeed there? Apparently that worked. Why did that work here but not in the other case? Did I fail to pass the options correctly? Down here. That's what they called ops. Okay, no, that's right. Options. Okay, I don't know why that's not working. Well, I have a test failing. Let's figure out what's going on here. So this test, well, at least I get the revision. I can make that one work. So now I know the actual revision is going to return. But the not found case is not returning not found. And it's not returning a conflict, which is what I would actually expect it to do since it's implemented as a call to put. Okay, down here. I don't understand. Unexpected returning a revision. It shouldn't do that because I'm passing an option or a rev. I'm running just that one test, so I can start adding some debugging stuff and see what's going on. Found. Where's okay? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This ops. This was nothing, right? Yeah, that shouldn't be nothing. Ops rev should be something here. Okay, why is that blank? That's the question now. Did I do it wrong over here? Options. No, what? We should just pass straight through. What's going on here? I don't know what that's going to turn out like. So confusing. No op. So I'm getting a no option somehow. That is not what I expected. Is that what Copilot told me this would pass? No. All right. How is this happening? Oh, okay. I do see what's going on here. All right. All right. I was conflating these two in my head, so I'm not passing options here. So the nil option is correct. So yeah, this just basically means that I can't really implement delete as calling a put, but I can probably extract most of put and make it a function that I call. Question kind of is how much. Let me look at the couch to be docs. It's time for me to end here. Let me look at the couch to be docs. See what options are supported for delete. Rev, batch. I think batch is obsolete now, but I don't care about it right now anyway. Yeah, there's not a lot of options here. So what I think I'll do is so put has a lot of different options. So the put logic is fairly complex. The delete code, the options are fairly simple. So I think I will re-implement this for delete and then refactor later. But I'm going to do that by copying and pasting probably because it's just a small part of this that I care about. Well, let me start over. So I was making progress at writing this myself already. So I need options parsing. I'm going to do it. I don't even need what that does. I'm going to start over. Var ops options apply. rev equals blah. So there's the revision. I don't know what, yeah, I'm going to skip that for now. I need to research what happens if the rev is equal to 0 or equal to nothing. For now, where's the query? I want, yeah? No, I want the one that I was playing with earlier. I want this. Insert into, I want this new thing is this. I basically want to copy this bit. Probably means I need to copy all of this from here. Right? So this, no, I need to copy all of this, basically. Which means I'll be duplicating it later with a refactor, but for now, doing it this way. Need to create a transaction, I guess, which I haven't done yet. All right. Doc ID. I guess that's what this is. So let's just call it the same. Doc rev. That is this. The difference is that in the put case, the rev can be passed as actually two different ways. Passed as an option or as part of the document. For delete, you're not passing a document, so it's only an option. That might be it. I mean, the tests are failing, but oh, here, this is not right. Okay, JSON doc is always going to be the same thing in this case. So I can just hard code that in there. In fact, I could probably do one better and hard code it here. I'll worry about that later. Let's just get it working first. Tester still failing. What's wrong? Undefined rev. Okay, where's that happening? Oh, I need to. All right. So actually, I'm not going to do this hard coded thing here. In theory, I might change that. I mean, it's always going to be the same, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna use the same logic as I do for put for the moment. It seems a little safer. Print like that. So I need to copy this basically. Print like that either. Whoops, I copied the wrong bit. This part. Now, doc ID is this. Now this is where I can put in my deleted part. Tester still failing. Let's see why. Not found is still not doing what I expected. So I need to check for that somewhere. Clean up some of this debugging that I threw all over the place. Okay, so not found is the only one failing. And it's failing the exact same way as it was before. The difference is now I have control over that code because it's not part of put, so I can modify it as necessary. So probably here I need to change something. Yeah, I do. So let's do a switch. Case errors.is. That might be all I need to do. Let's see. Yes, that fixed it. Now, there's one thing I haven't done yet, and that is to actually set this deleted column. Which I want to do because it makes it much easier to look up whether the document's deleted than trying to parse the JSON in the thing, right? So, on the other hand, the JSON is going to always be consistent, I think, but I don't think I want to rely on that. So I do want to set that column. So what I was just thinking was that in the case of a deleted document, the doc is always the exact same document, the one we were just looking at. The underscore deleted colon true. But I don't want to rely on that. So I will set this deleted column. So that happens with this JSON here. So I'll set deleted true. And then I want to add a check here that checks that that's actually what I got. So I want to select it's not really what I want to select. I want to select deleted from test or ID equals foo order by rev descending limit 1. By deleted dual so I should have made this test. So I'm actually going to undo this because I want the test to fail to verify that I'm writing the right test. If not deleted, not deleted. All right, that failed. Well, let's do this and see if it passes. It does. Good. Go ahead and commit that as part of the previous commit. All right, I'm going to call this a day. Offline, I'll push this up and merge it, and then next week we'll take off wherever we are then. Probably later tonight or during the week. I will continue making progress on this and do those tests I mentioned here. I'll test TouchDB and then get back to the get capability I was talking about with deleted conflicts. So yeah, thanks for watching. Ran a little bit over. I don't know if anybody's actually still here watching, but hope to catch you next week. Reach out anytime. Find me on boldlygo.tech. My contact details, email, social medias, all the fun stuff are there. So see you next time.